Welcome back again, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everyone's yet again had another good day. I've just come back. It's Monday here today in Australia, 5:36 p.m. And yeah, it's been a long weekend. Definitely recovery mode today, and obviously Monday-itis a little bit at work. But as soon as I seen this, I was like, I don't know where this will ever stop. And yet again, this is about, young trans kids coming out, etc., etc., where the parents kind of are pushing them in that direction. Because, I mean, when we were six, you pretty much, whatever you get taught, that just goes in your brain straight away. You're like a sponge at that age, right? And for kids to, like me reading these things, it just kind of baffles me. And it just really, it kind of gets on my nerves in a way because, you feel at 6 years old, you shouldn't even really care about these things. You should just want to be a kid. You should want to run around and play around, play touch, play hide and seek, and go and play with your friends. Like, I got to pretty much just jump straight into it because this is just absolutely ridiculous. So, Canadian family hold gender reveal party for their 8-year-old daughter after she told them, "I don't feel like a boy inside," at the age of 6. Alright, so Ella Scott, 8, from Ontario, was born male but always felt like a little girl inside. Okay? Just a little boy that decided, I'm a girl now. Alright, at 8 and 6 years old. The family held a gender reveal party for their 8-year-old daughter after she told them she no longer wanted to live as a boy. So it's what I mean, in my reality, I could just imagine if I was listening to the stuff at school or, whatever, my parents would literally just be like, "What is wrong with you? Go and play outside, go and play with your friends," and you would. And then let's say, for example, these parents, from what I've heard, they very much are a very pushy, attention-seeking family where they have to post everything. They have to, they're one of those very, very progressive families where they kind of nearly pushed a kid in that direction, and they started talking to their kids about these things young. So, there's a point where you got to start talking about the stuff, and there's a point where you aren't, in my opinion. And this is what worries me. But yet again, I mean, where is the line really? Because it is their kid. The parents are supposed to know the best for the kid. Where is there a point where you can kind of say, this is too much or this is not? It's a very gray area, in my opinion, because you can't really tell people how to raise their kids. Obviously, unless they're like abusing them. But I mean, Ella Scott, now 8, from Ontario, Canada. But isn't it just funny that it is in Canada as well? Because I think the parents, like, if this was like, let's say, a right wing, parents, they couldn't even misgender their kid and they'd go to jail, which has happened to people in Canada because it is law. You can't misgender them. So, told her parents that she didn't feel like a boy inside 2 years ago at the age of 6. Initially, her mother, Nikki, 38, and dad, Graham, 39, thought Ella might be going through a phase. But then they realized she was serious and held a gender reveal party to announce her journey to the extended family. So Nikki said of Ella, "It's like she will always knew, but we just didn't. We always knew she was a little different when she was little." I mean, so many kids are different when they're little. I mean, how many girls are tomboys and think that they're actually a boy, right? And then they get a little bit older, they hit puberty, and then they're like, wait a minute. Then most, 90% of them, 80%, I don't know how much, but most of them start liking guys then. And they change and they become more feminine. And, your body changes at puberty. Whereas in, let's say, these parents push for that surgery or puberty blockers, etc., they'll never hit that point. So they change for life. They might become infertile. It's just such big decisions at such a young age that parents allow these things. It kind of baffles me. But I digress. So when she was just little, she was always friends with girls and played with Frozen toys. I mean, it is normal for a lot of boys to play with girl stuff and are friends with girls. I have 2 other children, Ella's brothers, who play rough, but Ella never wanted to join in. Nikki said the journey really began when Ella turned 6. Nikki said at age 6, she wanted to start wearing girls' clothes like skirts and dresses. I must admit, I thought It might be just a phase. One Halloween decided to let Ella pick her own costume, and she wanted to be a cat. So she wore a skirt and cat ears. So now I think that you should actually call her a cat, right? By that logic. So neither of us knew what the right thing was to do, so we showed Ella books of trans... Let's show our 6-year-old kid books of trans people and put that in their head. Now you're showing them, and I bet you're like, do you feel like this? Do you feel like these people in the book? Then that kid is 99% of the time going to say, yes, yes, I do. That is what I feel like. I don't feel like, you know, a boy anymore. So we showed Ella books of trans people because she didn't have the words to say it. Because she shouldn't know it at the age of 6. Eventually she did. She said, I'm not a boy. I don't feel like this inside until I hit puberty. Oh, wait a minute. Now I feel like a boy. Far out. Nikki said she and her husband Graham were initially very confused over how... Okay, like I'm over this. The couple then arranged a consultation with a psychologist from the local child mental health center to reach out to Center for Kids. They provided support to the parents, supporting them in letting Ella choose who she wanted to be at the age of 6. In grade 1, she turned using she, her pronouns, eventually growing her hair longer and wearing girls' clothing. So then I just want to jump straight to this one here, right? So this is from the Post-Millennial International News. This was from February 14th. 6-year-old boy labeled transphobic by school for being confused by gender fluid student. At 6, how do you know what gender fluidity is? Like, I don't even know now. How do 6-year-old kids supposed to know? I don't think that a 6-year-old has the cognizant ability to work that out, the boy's father said. I agree, especially if the child is gender fluid. So parents of a little boy at a primary school in the Isle of Wight pulled their son from the Church of England school after they were told that if the 6-year-old was confused by another student's gender fluidity, he would be transphobic, apparently. A letter came home to parents after the boy was confused by another student who he knew to be a boy was wearing a dress. I don't think that a 6-year-old has the cognizant ability to work that out, the boy's father said, especially if the child is gender fluid. And the letter also said that we as parents would be deemed to be transphobic if we didn't accept the position. That is insane. First of all, the parents probably don't even know themselves. Secondly, the parents probably didn't want their kid to learn about these things until he's old enough. And now he's got to deal with a school calling the kid transphobic at the age of 6. Oh my lord. Sally and Nigel Rowe released that letter from the school's head teacher and chairwoman of the governors. It said that the student who demonstrated an inability to believe a transgender person is actually a real female would be considered transphobic, according to the Times. Further, if students showed feelings of discomfort and inability to trust or connect based on their transgender status, refused to use trans students' adopted name or preferred pronouns, they would also be considered transphobic. This is just insane, dude. This is where this world is going. I've gone back to being a child, husband, and father of 7. He's 52 years old. He's a father. He has 7 kids. Leaves his wife and kids to live as a transgender 6-year-old girl named Stephanie. Insane. A Canadian man who was married with 7 kids has left his family in order to fulfill his true identity as a 6-year-old girl. You know, who are we to tell him he's not, right? Apparently by this day and age, as laws and everything, we have to accept this. Because this is now normal, apparently, right? This is normal. This is what people want. So if I see one person that says, you know, a 6-year-old kid can be trans and say this guy can't, like, you know, I'll hold him accountable because this is where it's going. This is where the world is going. And I'm just glad there's people kind of taking a stand on these things, right? In an emotional video with gay news site The Daily Extra in collaboration with the Transgender Project, Stephanie Volst, 52 of Toronto. Of course it's Canada again. Of course it's Canada. Oh man, I feel for you guys in Canada, really, I do. says she realized she was transgender rather than simply cross-dresser at the age of 46, and split from her wife, Maria, after she told her husband to stop being trans or leave. Now, Stefani lives with friends who she cans her adoptive mommy and daddy as a 6-year-old girl, dressing in children's clothing and spending her time playing and coloring with her adoptive parents' grandchildren. So this is what, and that's now. Okay. Stefani, I just love it. It's Stefan and then knee, literally like knee, says her adoptive family, which consists of an older couple of their children and young grandchildren, are completely accepting of her identifying as a little girl. She says she's living as a 6-year-old. I can't deny I was married. I can't deny I have children, but I've moved forward now and I've gone back to being a child. I don't want to be an adult right now. I don't want to be an adult right now. Lovely, 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 lovely Canada. Lovely Canada. And now this is coming back into Queensland and Australia here. A proposal to make gender documentation optional on birth certificates and to allow for a change of sex every 12 months is currently being considered in Queensland. So you can literally put a gender on there for your kid, no matter what you want to put on there, put it on there. And then you can change it after 12 months. And then your kid, you know, I believe it's after the age of 6 they're considering, to 12, needs 2 parents' consents to change the gender, almost like those parents did with their gender reveal. And then also after the age of 12 only needs 1 parent's consent. And then I believe after the age of 15 or something, you don't need parents' consent. You can change your sex. Oh, sorry. Yeah, your sex every 12 months. So Queensland parents may soon have the option of not declaring a gender for their babies on their birth certificates. The details of the proposal were discussed at 2 women's groups earlier this month, where they were told the terms mother and father could also be optional. Under the changes, people would also be allowed to change their gender every 12 months, and they could choose any descriptor for their gender on the document, excluding numbers, symbols, and offensive language. So, yes, we can finally be cats and dogs as everyone wanted. You can be an elf. You can be an orc. How good is this? Just before the horrible Rings of Power is going to come out, people can now really become elves and orcs. How good is that, right? Welcome to the 21st century, ladies and gentlemen. So yes, that is what I just had to show you today. The absolute insanity the world is going. And all I can say is, you know, in these countries, you vote for what you get. Unfortunately, in Canada, you know, you vote for this government and you're going to get it. And, you know, when someone takes a stance like the truckers did, boom, that's the iron fist, breaks you down, authoritarian, apparently emergency state, shutting down people's bank accounts, etc., etc. Now we see the Dutch rising up. Very good to see. I hope they keep going and I hope they get what they need, because unfortunately the governments can't overrule people, because it ends up like this, right? But let me know in the comments what you think, how insane this is, or do you think that it's good? You know, should people just be able to be a 52-year-old male and decide I am now 6, or, you know, teach their kids about trans stuff at this age of 6 before they even know what they really are. Also, like the video if you like the video, dislike it if you do dislike it, and also subscribe there at the bottom of the video if you want to see future videos. And thanks for watching. I hope I shall see you in the next one.